most often played. And oh my goody gosh, looks like player positions are correct. So spawning in the lower right corner of the map, playing for Team Complexity, it is the yellow Zerg Fuzzy.
And his opponent in the upper left-hand corner for Team XO, it is the red Protoss Pulse.
Not to be confused, of course, with Team Pulse, as I have made that mistake plenty of times.
Yes, he's of XO.
Well, we've seen Fuzzy's ZVZ, guys. He knows what's going on. We'll see if he can handle it with his PVZ. Or sorry, I guess ZVP if we're talking from his perspective. Yada, yada, yada. And I see Gramps finally joining us in chat. Sir, your fans have been calling you out, so hopefully we'll see you in a game here soon. Although, alternatively, I guess you would hope to not be in a game, because Exo Pulse is going to 5-0, right? Or I guess you can't do that anymore. 5-1.
True.
Well, we have that really annoying probe.
Yeah, the probe is incoming for Exo Pulse. There's not really all that much happening. We don't have a pool down or an early extractor or anything like that, so it looks like it's going to be pretty normal hatch timing. Out of Fuzzy.
And just a quick moment here. People are saying in chat our mic volumes are different. Who is currently louder, myself or Ord? I can fix that very quickly.
Is it me?
I don't know. We'll find out in a sec. But
yeah.
Meanwhile, you know, we got that early pool going down. Well, I guess not early. 15 pool, very standard for dealing with probe harass. You don't want to have to deal with pylons. And Ord is louder, so let me just turn you down a little bit. Don't worry about it on your end.
Okay.
I will put the camera on you for a moment while I do that.
Alright, so now we got the probe coming down, harassing the expansion area, and it looks like Fuzzy doesn't want to deal with those shenanigans. He's just going to go straight to the third base location, which might turn out really bad for him later as these rocks are still up. But yeah, he does go ahead and expand right there. So he's probably going to have to build several queens or some zerglings to get rid of these rocks as soon as possible, unless he's planning on doing some type of roach aggression. But he's going to be up against, you wouldn't believe it, our Protoss friend is doing a Forge Fast Expand against Zerg.
And hopefully Ord's volume is better now, guys. But yeah, I mean, Ord, despite his sarcasm, this is what we see out of every single Protoss player. And I've only ever seen one person completely crush this in the early game. And that was, I believe it was Ace Bly, or well, I don't know, whatever, what I'm talking about here, but Bly in the Zotac Cup, he did a early layer to rush out Overlord Creep, and Spinecrawler Rush. And it just decimated this early wall.
I feel like I saw that, or casted it, or yeah, that sounds really familiar.
It was a recent game, so you maybe caught it on the YouTube channel. For those who don't know, by the way, we have our YouTube channel and other such things in the information bar below. We get a lot of cool stuff about StarCraft, but other games as well, so be sure to check that out and give us some love. And I hear no complaints in chat, so I'm going to assume your microphone is good for now.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, and the drone transfer is going down, almost really nice timing. Queen is slowly but surely making her painstaking way over there, and looks like we're going to have 3 queens to start out, and as of yet, only 4 zerglings made, and they're out here just...
I'm a little shocked Fuzzy didn't go for that third, though. I mean, when you see the Forge Fast expand, that's kind of your cue to take that third base. Because there's not a lot of 2-base pressure you're going to do this early to break that wall, especially with the cannon. Get a sentry out, put up a force field. You're going to be set for life.
True enough. Overlord for Fuzzy, just flying over the main and checking both the gas timings of Pulse, and now he's going to wander down here to the expansion area and see that it's not very well saturated just yet. Although there does seem to be most of the chrono being devoted to probes and only probes so far. He's not too worried about getting that +1 research done at all.
And we do finally see Fuzzy going for that third. A little late, I feel, but I mean, really not a big deal. As long as you have it up, you've got that extra larva production, the extra mining base, and this is what you need to counter Protoss.
Yeah, plus the 6 gas is extremely helpful for Zerg if he wants to do anything with Infestors and or Mutalisk. Mutalisk, always a lot of fun to play against Protoss. Now there's going to be a photon cannon working for 10 years on the destructible rocks.
But it will eventually go down, and I think that's the goal here. Now, to just talk a moment here on what you just mentioned, Mutalisks, I feel, are most easily and best utilized against Protoss. And I say this because I mean, Zerg versus Zerg, you can't really mass Muta versus mass Muta. That's too random, and no amount of skill will win you that battle. Mutalisk versus Terran, Thors and Marines, missile turrets, whatever, you can do some harass. You can't really mass Mutalisk. I feel that versus Protoss is the only time it's really viable, and we've seen it played out very well in the past.
Here we have the forward pylon being laid down. A Zealot Stalker and a Probe are attacking against 3 Zerglings and a Queen.
Oh, but the Zealot just going to work on the Zerglings.
Yeah, the Queen will probably fall here unless she's protected. There we go. Nice control with the drones. Stalker's going to try and target down the Queen. However, more Zerglings pop. This pylon turns out to be a bit of a waste, but meanwhile, the Probe did get up into the main and just barely was able to see that the spawning or that the Roach Warren was down. So now Pulse knows Fuzzy's early game tech choice. It is going to be Roaches, perhaps defensive.
And luckily, I mean, he really didn't devote too much to that. It was your typical Stalker Zealot poke. That's something you would see you do no matter what build that Fuzzy had going for him.
True. Just an interesting choice to put that pylon down so forward. Looks like he may have just been hoping to inspire the creation of a lot of Zerglings, which he kind of got. So can't quite drone as heavily as Fuzzy may have wanted to.
And I'm a little shocked here by Pulse as well. I mean, not only is he supply block, it took him a long time to get sentries on the field. So these couple sentries he has do not have much energy for force fields, and this Speedling army could very easily overwhelm our Protoss player.
Yeah, and we have +1/+1 melee and ground carapace all on the way for our Zerg players. Zerglings rush in here at a really good timing, get a probe and run away. Actually, essentially a free trade.
I think you only lost 1 Zergling for that, so yeah, really not too bad.
And now we do have Pulse, just like you said, finally getting up to about 8 sentries. 7 at the moment and over there. And he's got a bunch of gateways back in his main that are kind of hidden away along with the Twilight Council, but he's not going for Blink or for Charge just yet. He's getting the Immortals, he's getting the +1 attack, he's adding more gateways on.
And Ord, look at this at the third. I love seeing Protoss players do this. This exact build pattern, this schematic if you will, it creates this nice little island that's not easily taken out by Zerg units, and you need so many less force fields to protect your army. You put 3 here or 2 here between the Nexus and the Pylon. You put 3 over here between the rocks and the gateways, and you're good to go. This is a great choke he's created for himself.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Plus, it's supported by the Photon Cannon and 2 pylons, meaning you won't have any Artosis pylon situations.
But meanwhile, we do have Fuzzy going for a 4th while this is being situated, and this is where you want to be. This is that Zerg position. You're comfortably a base ahead of your opponent.
Yeah, that's very true. And the Observer for Pulse is seeing anything and everything it wants. It knows that a macro hatchery is down. It knows that the lair is being upgraded. It sees the infestation pit is down and researching, and pretty much all of that can be expected at this point. But Pulse does not yet know that the 4th base has been established.
Yeah, meanwhile, Fuzzy's just building up his army now. The good thing about having a large army for the Zerg is, of course, you just overwhelm your opponent. But the catch to this is the longer you take to build up your army, the more units Pulse will have to deal with. And everyone knows that the bigger a Protoss army is, the harder it is to take down.
True.
A 50 supply army will crumble way faster than like a 100 supply army.
Yeah,
just numbers, folks.
Right now, our army supply is actually fairly even. Fuzzy 6 ahead, but a lot of that in Zerglings. And we know how they trade against Zealots, especially +1 attack Zealots. I do have to commend Fuzzy on his map vision, though. He can see everything.
Oh, and he catches that Observer.
Oh, nicely done.
Oh, but the second fungal's not enough. 5 health remaining on the Observer. A little bit of a waste.
That's a little silly. And right now we have the Greater Spire underway already, and look at that, Burrow also on the way. There are photon cannons at the front, though, so they won't just sneak on by. And what were you talking about? Creating a choke. He doesn't want to let anything through on that 3rd base location. Nice timing, actually, but these Zerglings can't get in. The Infested Terrans are thrown out. There are Colossus out.
Look at all these force fields, though. I mean, this is just going to be so easy for him to hold. I mean, sure, you lost Zerglings, but you know what? That clears up supply. You're going to have more Corruptors on the field, more Roaches, more heavy-duty units.
And right now, Extended Thermal Lance is about halfway done. Oh, there we go. Warp Prism being started for Pulse. He is going to finally decide to stop being turtley, move out on the map after he lost that first Stalker and Zealot. He seemed to take it personally. And Fuzzy, down at the 4th base location, looks like he doesn't want to have to worry about it at all. He's got 5 Spine Crawlers on the way. And Corruptors popping out.
Spine crawlers are really nice to have, but I mean, the reality is they're nothing more than really a deterrent, and he's got to hope that he doesn't have to use those. But with the way Pulse is moving out on the field, he might just have to rely on them. We have a Dark Shrine, possibly just for Archons, because it's kind of hard to use Dark Templar versus Zerg, but also a Stargate, so we may see a Mothership on the field if we see a Fleet Beacon follow this up immediately.
It's a pretty early Broodlord army we have right now. 1430, and Broodlords have already popped with a decent amount of. The Colossi are going to be essentially useless if a lot of those Corruptors are kept by Fuzzy and his army, and there's still a 20 supply difference right now.
And +3 weapons are about halfway finished here for Pulse. He's got a Warp Prism though sneaking across the far side of the map. He's got Zealots in it, and right now Fuzzy doesn't have much at home other than a couple Queens. And if his army is maxed out, he won't be able to retreat to deal with this.
And the 5th base is starting to be taken, but there's a loaded up Warp Prism who's about to spot it. He does. Bypasses it, actually. No,
there are two Warp Prisms on opposite sides of the map right now, so he has drawn the army of Fuzzy away from his 5th.
Nicely
oh,
done.
And look at this. Even if the base... Oh, no cancel! And he's going to pick off so many drone kills for this. Huge warp into the main. Oh, look at this. Dark Templars, too.
Oh, that's very nice. There's no Spire or Overseas there. There is a Spire.
They're warping it right now, but the Hive might just fall. They're not going to finish in time. This Hive will go down. Oh, and that is a huge loss. I don't think there's another layer on the map. I'm sure these Dark Templars are going to be taken out. They're not going to get the big tech structures, but taking out that Hive was beautiful.
Wow, that's a lot of Overseers that were made. I don't think DTs are going to work again, but that one investment in them really does pay off. And here we go with another warp in. Zerglings arrived too soon, though, and these Zealots aren't even attacking. They're just on move command. There they go.
But meanwhile, this Harass has bought Pulse the time he needs to get a Mothership out on the field. And, ooh, awkward. Hoodlum legging out.
Aww.
Scumbag team manager. But I mean,
and during all of this, exactly like you were saying, Pulse was trying to set up his expansion. However, one burrowed Zergling being the bane of his existence.
I don't think he realized that. He must have just like shift build commanded because he's not
and in the main, we still have Zealots getting warped in, and yeah, they got the spawning pool.
And that's critically huge. I mean, yes, there are Broodlords on the field, but you need units to support this with. You need that cannon fodder. And Fuzzy, I mean, he's got a much larger supply. That's great, but I mean, Pulse has been doing a great job with these harasses and keeping Fuzzy at bay.
Yeah, and there's even more
so many Zealots gonna go straight for the evolution chambers.
God, the +3 attack, they just destroy everything. They don't have any armor at all, but it doesn't matter because all there are Zerglings to counter them. And actually, these Zealots are going to win this fight and have their way in the main here. Where is the army?
And there's no +3 weapons. With that Hive destroyed, there's no research going on. Some Zealots taking out the gas mining workers. Second evolution chamber will fall, and this is really going to prompt Fuzzy to do something.
Yeah, he basically does. He's got the Broodlord army still in the center of the map with the Infestors, so he feels safe in the center, but he's losing his tech. His Roach Horn's about to go down. He's going to lose another hatchery too, probably. He's got another Zealot with 17, 18, 19 kills in his main mineral line. Finally, some Infestors show up, throw out some Infested Terran.
And we have the best, to quote someone else, we have the best Zerg unit on the map with the Mothership finally confirmed. But, oh, look, the Broodlord's coming in. There's not anything even close enough energy to Vortex.
I really like this out of Pulse. He was engaging in both the main and at that 4th base location while posturing in front of those Broodlords, but holy cow, is that a lot. He's got 15 Broodlords, and looks like, how many Infestors? Let's open up that Units tab and have it tell us exactly. Nice, very nice. Versus 5 Archons and the Mama Ship and 16 Stalkers. So really, Pulse is not prepared to deal with Broodlords if Fuzzy pushes forward.
Well, luckily there is no Neural Parasite, so that Mothership will safely remain Pulses. But look, we got Warpins coming into the 4th again. So Stalkers this time instead of Zealots. Oh, and Zealots and Dark Templar are actually coming into the 5th. And Pulse just kind of posturing on the map, not wanting to get caught off guard with the counterattack.
They're going to get the 5th. The drones have to abandon it.
Really nice pickoff, and he's going to go straight back to the main. And this slow Broodlord army, it's hard to maneuver. He doesn't have that many Zerglings. He's just got Infestors. And, these Dark Templar are just...
Yeah, now they're targeting the Greater Spire, and it's dead.
Oh, and he gets the armor upgrade, too, completely denied. And this is, I don't know, Pulse is doing more damage with these Zealot Dark Templar Warpins than he is with his army. But the big thing is, look at this. He's
Yeah, back
kept
in the
Fuzzy at
fourth.
bay again. Energy on the mothership now for a Vortex. Lots of Archons for a Toilet. And oh, there's a
And
lot of Changelings. Huge Changeling army here.
a few Zealots were spotting the army, though, for Pulse, so he now knows the Broodlords are incoming. There goes his warp in by his main army, but he's got Zealots still doing work in the fourth. There's really only mining going on at the third, and not even.
Oh, but here we go. The Broodlords are pushing up. Look at the Infested Terrans being thrown down as well. Where will that Vortex be placed? Because we need one down.
Oh, there is one, but it's not all that well placed. Broodlord spread is actually incredible, but these Archons
I think
are just
somehow
not
Fuzzy's
attacking.
going to pull
They're
this
just
off.
moving. Oh.
They're dealing with the Broodlings, which is really unfortunate. And the Broodlings actually keep them from getting the Infestors.
Oh, and now nothing was killed.
And I think that's going to be a GG for Mr. XO Pulse here.
That is just astounding. Fuzzy was just in atrophy. He kept losing more and more and more, and then he was like, okay, I guess I'll attack. And that's it. GG.
Well played. It's funny because